Hello friends, it's story time with Miss Dina, and today we're going to read The Flowers Are Calling. Today's story is called Flowers Are Calling by Rita Gray, illustrated by Kennard Pack. Remember, the author, the person that writes the words, and the illustrator is the person that draws the pictures. Flowers are calling a little black bear. No, not a bear. He doesn't care. They're calling a butterfly to dip from the air. Flowers are calling a wet green frog. No, not a frog. She likes her soggy bog. They're calling a bumblebee to look near their log. Flowers are calling a porcupine. No, not a porcupine. She wouldn't take the time. They're calling a hummingbird to sip at their vine. Queen Anne's lace. Butterflies like a landing pad when they drink nectar. Monks should. Bumblebees are hefty enough to push deep inside a monkshood flower where nectar is stored. Trumpet honeysuckle. Hummingbirds use their long tongues to reach the nectar hidden in deep tubular flowers and hover as they drink. Flowers are calling a loud blue jay. No, not a jay. He wouldn't stay. They're calling a honeybee to fly their way. Flowers are calling a little moose. No, not a moose. What would be the use? They're calling a beetle to eat their pollen loose. Flowers are calling a rabbit to stop. No, not a rabbit. It's not their habit to call a rabbit. He might grab it. They're calling a bee fly to visit their spot. Apple tree blossom. Honeybees help make many of the fruits, nuts, and vegetables we eat by pollinating fruit tree blossoms such as the apple tree. There are also thousands of varieties of wild bees that help to make many of the foods we eat. Flowers are calling a small brown snake. No, not a snake, for goodness sake. They're calling a pollen wasp with nectar to take. Flowers are calling a fat raccoon. No, not a raccoon. He doesn't care for white bloom or sweet perfume. They're calling a moth in the light of the moon. Flowers are calling a desert deer. No, not a deer. He can't even get near. They're calling a nectar bat to flap over here. Blow out beard tongue. Pollen wasp, like bees, make loaves of nectar and pollen to feed their young. Carden cactus. Lesser long-nosed bats have long tongues that can reach the nectar deep inside the bell-shaped flowers of the carden cactus. The cactus flowers unfurl for just one short night. Moonflower and Carolina Sphinx moth. Sphinx moths are expert flyers with very long tongues. Like carden cactus, the blooms of moonflowers open for just one night and depend on the right time visits of moths for pollination. Flowers are calling a busy wren. No, not a wren. He's already seen them. They're calling some children to look again. Look at a flower. What do you see? Color. Flowers that have daytime visitors tend to have bright colors so they can be easily found among the green foliage. Flowers with nighttime visitors tend to be pale with a very sweet smell, making them easier to locate in the dark. Many insects can't see the color red and are instead drawn to yellows and blues. Pattern. Many flowers use designs to help the pollinator find nectar right away. These designs are called nectar guides. How is the middle of your flower different from its outer part? Would these differences help a pollinator find nectar? Shape. The shape of a flower can tell you who might come to visit. Hummingbirds can reach deep inside long, thin flowers, but honeybees have rather short tongues. They need their nectar served in a shallow golden bowls, like those of the apple blossom. Bumblebees are rather heavy and need strong flowers that can hold their heft. Is your flower a tight cluster of many small blossoms such as Queen Anne's lace or dandelion? Then it will be good for all those insects like a sturdy perch. Smell. Does your flower smell sweet or musky? Does it have any smell at all? Bees like sweet smells and beetles like fruity, spicy scents. Night-active moths love flowers as fragrant as perfume. Nectar bats like musky smells, and some flies like rotten smells. Birds and butterflies use their eyes to find flowers instead of their sense of smell. Time of opening. Does your flower open in the daytime or in the nighttime? If it is a night bloomer, it is calling to a night moth or nectar bat. Day bloomers are calling to birds and insects who find food in the sunshine. Would you believe flowers need pollination to flourish? Pollinators need flowers for nourishment. A pollinator is any animal or insect that helps a flower to trade pollen with another flower like itself. Most flowers need to trade pollen with each other so they can make seeds. These seeds will then grow into new plants. Here are some fascinating ways flowers call to their special pollinators. Many insects and birds see in ultraviolet light. This allows them to see nectar guides that are invisible to us. A flower that appears to us as one solid color can actually have a prominent two-toned bullseye at its center. This sends a loud and clear message, "Drink here!" Come early spring, flowers create their own heat to give visiting insect a toasty room for the night. This ability to generate heat is called thermogenesis. This warmth also helps spread a flower scent. Some flowers of coffee, orange, and grapefruit plants offer bees a shot of caffeine with their nectar. These bees like the caffeine and return to the blossoms for refills. The caffeine helps the bees to remember where they found it. Flowers make their own electrical buzz that bees understand. This buzz can tell a bee how much nectar a flower has. In this way, flowers signal to bees which flowers offer a full slurp of nectar. Bees, birds, butterflies, moths, bats, and other pollinators are some of the most important creatures on Earth. When they drink the nectar of flowers and or eat flower pollen, they can help plants to make new flowers. Some of these flowers become the fruits, nuts, and vegetables we eat every day. But pollinators are in trouble, and we can help. Perfectly manicured green lawns that use toxic herbicides, pesticides, offer nothing to pollinators. What they need instead are long grasses with an assortment of native species flowers. Ideally, the flowers will be lots of different colors and shapes and blooms throughout the growing season. Even a few flower pots or a window box can make a difference. And don't forget to include a fresh water source for your precious pollinators. To find out how to attract pollinators in your specific area, enter your zip code at pollinator.org/guides.htm. So that was some interesting facts about flowers. Different shapes, different sizes, different smells, all that attracts different pollinators in order to get our fruits and vegetables and nuts that we eat. That was so cool. I hope you enjoyed today's story. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.